Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you all had a great week and a wonderful weekend. We're back at it again tomorrow. Start it all over again. But no, I do hope everyone had an awesome week and weekend. And if not, hang in there. You got this. You got this. You got this. You got this. I'm proud of you for just making it through the week. You got this. We get to do it all over again tomorrow. Tomorrow's a new day. It's Monday. We're going to start it back right. So hang in there. You got this. All right. So this week we have episode 10. And it is Want This Smoke. Do you want this smoke? Does anybody want this smoke? No, I'm just kidding. No, but yes, we do have The Chi, Season 6, Episode 10, Want This Smoke. And to me, it was a really good episode. It wasn't like, it didn't give me like a filler kind of vibe. It was just, so far, so good. They're flowing with the episodes, and I love that. We got introduced to some new characters, new cast members. This episode, so I'm even more excited about that. But yeah, we started off this episode with Victor, and he is obviously, I said it in the video last time, I thought he was mayor, but he's not. I think he's just a city councilman. Gotta correct myself. But we start the video off with Victor, and he is doing some public speaking engagement, and he is talking about mental health and opening up a mental health clinic, which is really important. This month is, the month of May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and, I thought that was amazing that they started off the episode talking about, mental health and, mental health awareness, and Victor just having his moments of flashbacks throughout the beginning of this episode of, Victor being Victor and Victor as Trig, paralleling the two. And I just thought that was really interesting because it's been a while since I watched the earlier seasons, but as the flashbacks were coming, they started to come back to me like, oh yeah, I remember when he rolled up on Nuck. I remember when, him and Douda got rid of Q, and just a whole bunch of other things that I can recall. And I think he did get payback for whoever, for the guy that took out Reg, if I'm not mistaken. That was one of the flashbacks as well. And so I was just like, wow. So that's, that was really important because we have been seeing, especially with the last episode, Victor's really conflicted. Like, it's him trying to be on the straight and narrow, do the right thing, stay on the right path, go forward. But constantly the past is just looking back like night and day for him, and he's trying to do the right thing and be an advocate for others as well as, himself. And so it's really hard, like, especially when you're dealing with Douda. It's like, it's not a game, And I think for him, as well as Bakar, I think that's what they're trying to get everyone around them to understand, that when you're dealing with Douda, it's not a game. And it's not as easy, especially for them, because they have ties to the streets, and they're trying to, cross over and be on the straight and narrow, be, citizens, regular, upstanding citizens, and do the right thing, and build their futures, and etc. So, but everybody keeps somehow getting intertwined, intermixed with Douda some way, one way or another. And, for Bakari as well as Victor, they just trying to get people to understand, like, once you're in it, and it's hard to get out of it. So, like I said, I thought that was really cool because Marcus was also there, and he was just explaining to Victor, like, hey, you should run for mayor. Like, I think you'd be perfect for it. And it's like Victor just knows that, like, he's done a lot. as Trig in the streets. Victor, aka Trig, he's done a lot and he's trying to reform himself, and and he's kind of like, I don't know, but he would necessarily be like the good guy in this version. If you're going against Douda, anybody's better than Douda having power, so. But with power, obviously, it comes with a lot, and yeah. So, as we see, Victor, he leaves out of the event, and he gets back in his truck, yanked up from behind, okay, and thrown in a van and taken away. And where does he end up? Right in front of Douda. Speaking of Douda and Bianca, for some reason Bianca was there too, and I was like, girl, why are you here? Like, what is this? Is this fun for you? Are you excited? Is this a thrill? Seeing Douda in action, like, I want a little bit of a backstory with their relationship, like, and then at the same time, I'll get to it later, I'm just still not team Bianca, and I'm not like, yeah, I trust her, because I'm like, Alicia just asked to cast in a favor. I wonder if Alicia knows your relationship with Douda, that you're sleeping with him and all that stuff, but I'll get to that later. But I was like, why are you here? Like, that was so random. I was watching, like, dang. Vic, golly. Like, shucks. It was doing so good and ends up right in front of Douda. Douda, I thought, was smarter than that. Okay, I really thought was smarter than that, because the fact that he, first thing off, gonna ask, I almost said Emmett, Victor, if he tried to unalive him, I was just like, okay. She plus 2 equals 4, and you're adding too many pieces to the puzzle. That's no. It was just 2 people, and I thought he had it figured out last episode that it was Emmett and Rob, just Emmett and Rob, and that's why I loved when Victor was like, "Oh, if I wanted you gone, and if it was me who was coming after you, you would have been gone. We would not be having this conversation. You would not be standing right here. We would not be face to face. Because I don't miss." Like, yes. Trig is Trig for a reason. He has that name for a reason. Sorry, I got hyped. Sorry. Trig has that name for a reason. I mean, Victor has, aka Trig, has that name for a reason. Like I said, I think, if memory serves me correct, when Reg, he's older, I think he's the oldest. I don't know if Victor was older or Reg was older, but one of the two. When Reg was taken out by one of Douda's guys, if I'm not mistaken, Trig came in and handled that. And he did not miss. He knew it was Douda had something to do with it. And I think that's why they met in that parking garage or wherever they were. He did not miss. And Douda was just looking like, dang. Because I think it was close. I think, if, like I said, memory served me right, I think Victor had set up that meeting between the guy that took out Reg and Douda. And so I remember they were talking, and then that's when, he did what he did. And he did not miss. He got the guy. And Douda was just like, he was shook. So that's why I was like, Douda, that's for a fact that Victor would not miss. He would not. He would not. Trigger fingers, trigger happy. Trigger. Lined it up. He wouldn't miss. So I was like, for a fact. The job was sloppy. Like I said, Victor wouldn't have missed. Victor said it himself. I don't miss. And he was a little cocky with it too. Like, he not really scared of Douda, but he just let him know, like, you could try me, but it won't end the way you expect it. I think that's why Douda does, like, he did try Trig, but Trig has stuff on him. Victor, I mean, see how we be flip-flopping? Victor has stuff on Douda, obviously. Everybody has something on Douda, but, he know better. He know better to really take it that far as he does with Emmett, because Emmett just is a different story. So, yeah, I was pissed off at Douda, because I was like, why would you ask him that? It wasn't him. You knew, point blank, it was Rob, because you told him to go to the hospital, and they came back and said Rob was in the hospital. You knew it was Emmett because Emmett told you to come along. But I don't know if, like, Emmett said he got the gift of gab. He probably could have put some doubt in Duda's head. Like, are you sure? I don't. Because I think last episode he was like, yeah, you know. And I'll help you figure out whoever did this. I was looking like, Emmett, you. It was you. Like, what do you mean I'll help you figure out who tried to take you out? You sitting there talking to the man right now. Like, but yeah, I thought Duda was a little bit smarter than that. So that kind of like threw me all the way off. Of course, like I said, I don't really think Trig or Victor, he's on the straight and narrow. I don't think Victor is that scared of him because he headbutted Duda. He thought this was a game. He thought it was a joke a little bit. Like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. And Duda was just looking like, oh, so you want to play? You want to headbutt me? Got you. Boop. Not one to the eye. The good eye. And then he just let him go. Sent him about his way. I felt so bad for Victor because you can see he was so angry, so upset because, like I said, this month, the month of May, is Mental Health Awareness Month. And, you know, it's all about mental health. Every day should really be about mental health, honestly. But, of course, I will say what was better this episode was the men. The men actually came together. Unlike last episode, they were actually present. And I was so excited because, like I said, when Victor came in, his eye messed up and he was pissed. And, of course, they were having their sit down for their usual, you know, men's mental health, their check-ins, their, you know, what can I do? How can I support you? You know, we had Jamal, we had Marcus, we had Rashad. Woo! There was a lot of Rashad this episode, which I love, and I'll get to him. Because, oh my gosh, we had Bakari. Still, I don't think Jake was there. We still don't know Jake, so hopefully he will come around. But it was nice to see the other guys, you know, there. And, of course, everybody was looking, you know, at Victor, like, what's wrong? And Victor is just, Marcus got up like, are you okay? He's like, I'm not, but it'll be all better soon. And I'm just like, okay, what do you have up your sleeve? Because, you know, in that moment, of course, he was pissed off. Like, you just had an empowering moment, and then Duda came and ruined it and socked you in your eyes. So, yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot. We also, this episode with Victor, we have Quincy. I remember Quincy. I can't remember his position. I think he's just Victor's assistant, if I'm not mistaken, or like campaign manager. But Quincy and Victor have a lot of interaction this episode, and Quincy's just trying to tell Victor, like, hey, I get what you're going through to a certain degree. But you know, you have some people that would like to back you, but they want you to reverse your vote, take back your vote on defunding the police. And he's just kind of like, no, because that only benefits a certain demographic of people. How's that going to benefit us? How, if we push them back out, what does that do for us? And we'll be back to square one. Not doing it. Quincy's like, think about it. And Victor's just like, like, I feel for Victor. Like I said last week, it's something all the time, like, especially for Victor when he's just trying to do good and trying to be there for everybody, which I can understand personally, just trying to be there for everybody and be a voice for everybody and support everybody and pour into everybody. Is like, okay, shoot, who's going to pour into you? You're trying to keep yourself together and you're dealing with your own things, and it can be hard because it's just like, dang, like they said in Good Times, keeping your head above water. Okay, like you're trying to keep your head up and it's just something, one thing after another. Somebody needs this, you know, people coming, and you're just like, wait a minute, I got my stuff going on too. But like, you don't want to not help. You don't want to have people out there stranded. You don't want to give advice. You don't want to not, be there, and it's hard. I get that, because Victor's just like, dang, like he's being pulled in so many different directions, and I personally, from my own experience in life, I get that wholeheartedly. I do. So I hope he is able to figure that out. He also has, like I said, him and Duda with Quincy, aka Q, and that whole situation that happened. You got the feds, the police, FBI, looking into Q, what happened to him, and of course they find the car that they were in and Q's body in the trunk, and I'm just like, damn, Victor, your hands was all on the trunk. You was driving, like, shucks, your hand, your fingerprints, DNA, everything is in that car. And of course, at the end of the episode, like I said, we have new characters, new cast being introduced, and my favorite, I love Leon. I love Lynn Whitfield. I love Leon, like, aka Mr. Alonzo Daniels Lafayette. He is going to be Victor's lawyer, and I'm so excited because when I saw the trailer and I saw him in it, I was like, I'm so excited. Like, I love Leon since, like, The Temptations, obviously, when he played David Ruffin. But yes, like, he's very handsome, amazing actor. I'm excited to see what is about to take place between him and Victor this season. I'm just excited to see what he's about to do and what he's about to bring to the show. I am like, ooh. When I saw him on the screen, I was like, yes, cannot wait. Like, Fridays do not come fast enough for me. And sorry, I'm just so excited. But yes, and like I said, I love Lynn Whitfield. She's so beautiful, so amazing. And I got a little bit of thin line between love and hate vibes. I'll explain that later. With her and, Rashad. And we also, like I said, have new cast and another new cast member. Kadeem, he played Dwayne in A Different World, and I'm so excited because he's a professor, and I love that for him. I love that. I love it. I'm excited. I'm excited about these new episodes. Woo! Long-winded. That was long-winded, but I just get so excited about The Chi, and especially these new cast members and the cast members that we already have. Like, it's such a great show. It really is. All right, so that was a lot with Victor. He's going through it. But I think with Alonzo, aka Leon, I think they'll figure something out. And I do like that Quincy is trying to help him out too. And I can't remember if the other guy worked for Duda, like what he did specifically when Victor and Quincy were trying to tell him, like, Duda is not a good guy. And the guy was like, oh, he treated me like I was a son to him. And I'm like, yeah, he does that with everybody. Even Victor tried to say it, like, you think he's like a father figure to you now, or he's good, but he's not. Alright, so this episode we also had Emmett and Keisha, and they were, I think, dropping little Ronnie off to school, and he's so adorable. And then, they were just having a conversation in the hallway about being, getting older, and they haven't really gone out in a while. As we know from last episode, and all of, the Ghetto Brady Bunch, as Alicia calls it, they got a lot of kids between Tiff, Emmett, Keisha. It's kids all across the board, between all of them. And so they were talking about how they haven't had a chance to go out. Emmett was like, yeah, let's go out, let's go to the club, let's do something, like, just us two have fun. And of course, they dropped the kids off with Jada and Darnell, and they were just looking like, ooh, this is a lot of kids, like, woo, ooh, it's a lot. And so, of course, they agreed to watch the kids, and they just told, Emmett to have fun, But Jada was like, be careful, don't be making no more babies, which, we know that, you know, there might be another edition this season or, next season since, they got renewed for season 7. Because yeah, out the window, okay? So there may be a new edition. Might be another baby running around sometime soon, okay? Because we know what happened after the club. So, and of course, Jada, being a mother, she is still obviously worried about not only Emmett, but Keisha and pretty much everybody in general, just hoping that nothing happens to them. So, of course, she tells Emmett, like, if something does happen, we are more than capable of stepping up. And of course that's scaring Emmett. He was already scared, but now he's even more scared. Like, can y'all stop worrying? Like, y'all scaring me. Which I'm like, dang it, Emmett, like, take it seriously. Because everybody else around him is taking it seriously. Like, this is nothing to play with. This is serious. Anything could happen. You're in even more deeper since your plan didn't, go through. And so, yeah, that, it was a good conversation. I will say I am happy that Emmett is keeping everybody in the loop and talking to everybody about what is going on and the decisions that he's making. He's not just keeping everybody in the dark. So now everybody's pretty much on the same page. Like, okay, this is what Emmett's doing next, or this is what he's been told to do, kind of thing. So I think that is good, especially with Keisha, because not being on the same page with your partner or, anybody in your circle, it just kind of creates confusion, and then it's just too much. Something's bound to happen. I will say, to a certain extent, when I said keeping everybody on the same page, he didn't tell Tiff or Rob that he was asked to take out Alicia by Douda. Didn't let them know. He just said that, in order to buy out Douda or get rid of him, he's going to need some money. And obviously, Alicia comes in. And so she hears that while they're at one of her residents. She has a lot of places, according to Rob, she has many different residences. And so, yeah, he was just talking to Tiff and Rob and basically, explaining, like, he needs a certain amount of money, but he doesn't know how much. And so Alicia was like, hey, I can invest in you. You need an investment, I got you. Get back to me. Let me know how much you need. And Rob was just like, I'd be careful. Because my mother does not play with money. That's one. And two, if something goes down between you and her, now I have to step in. I'm like, gosh, Emmett, think before you just jump to stuff. Because I don't think you would want to be in it with Rob, who's with your baby mom, Tiff, and they have business. And then you definitely don't want to be in it with Alicia, because this is like the 50th morning between Douda and Alicia that I've heard of people saying that this person's not a good person and this person is not who you think they are, And like Rob said once before, that Alicia makes Douda look like a saint. I would have took that and ran with it and kept it in the memory bank. Like, let me not ever cross Alicia. Let me stay on her good side. Let me be, up to par. Let me be about my business. Yeah. Because if Alicia makes Douda look like a saint, then that makes me question, how bad is she really? And if she is the next Douda, which I, in my opinion, think is going to happen, she'll be the next person to take his place. Ooh, everybody is going to be in for it. So, I'm like, okay, I'm going to think about it, because this is like your 50th morning. Take heed. Also, this episode, we have, like I said, Emmett and Keisha, they went out to party and stuff, and they, ran into Dante. They were having a great time, getting it, dancing, which they were actually dancing, not just standing against the wall in a section, looking at everybody. They were having a good time, which is not something you really do see these days. They were, having a good time, enjoying themselves, enjoying their night out. Here comes Dante. I'm like, dang, you were everywhere. Me personally, I remember when Tiff got her car stolen by, I think, Bakari and I think it was Zay. And Dante was there. He pulled up, talked to Duda, and given them the car back, whatever. It was a misunderstanding. I would like to know more of Dante and Duda's relationship, like their history. Because I'm like, dang, Dante is. It's not. I don't think it's really a coincidence that he is. He knows Duda. I don't think it's a coincidence that he's familiar, and yeah, he's around. I don't think it's a coincidence. I like I said, I just would like to know a little bit of his history with Duda, and not only his history with Duda, his history in general. Because I feel like he's not in the series just for anything. So him popping up, I was like, okay. And then of course we got to see Reagan. I love her. She's a great actress. I loved The Parenthood. I loved watching it, and oh my gosh, I was excited to see her. I was like, oh, what? Wait a minute, is that Reagan Gomez? Look at her! Like, she looks beautiful. She looks amazing. And, her character was Carmen. And so, after Dante's sneaky self, sidebar, was telling Keisha, like, she don't look like nobody's mom. I'm like, Dante, watch yourself. Like, I'm like, he is so slick and smooth with it. Like, the way he took them glasses off, I was like, like, checking her out. I was like, we done been here with Tiff, Emmett, and you, Dante. Like, we've been through y'all little situation, and like Emmett said, like, fall all the way back. And Dante was like, can we just keep that in the rear view, like, let's move forward, kind of thing. And that made me laugh, because I was like, is he trying to flirt with Keisha a little bit? Like, okay, all right, bold with it. But like Carmen said, Dante don't really care about labels or being tied down or, any of that stuff. You are free to do whatever you may do, do as you please when you're dealing with Dante. So, you have choices. So I just was like, oh my gosh. And, Keisha, I could tell she was kind of like soaking that in. And then I was like, okay. But I had laughed, and I thought, again, another warning to Emmett. As Dante and Emmett were talking, he was just telling him to be careful with Duda. If you're going to start something, don't start something and not finish it. And I was like, you got a point. Because, Emmett, you have come this far. And if you're going to back out now, it's not the time. You might as well just go through with whatever you're going to go through, because it's only one way or two ways, or I don't even know how many ways it can go. So I did like that Dante was keeping it real with him. Like, yeah, we might have a history, but if you're going to do anything with Duda, be smart and make sure you finish whatever you started, honestly. So, yeah, it was nice to see Dante and Carmen. It was funny. And I laughed too, because afterwards, Keisha and Emmett were so ready to go home. They were tired. They were like, woo, maybe we have outgrown the club scene. Maybe just staying home, chilling on the couch, eating some pizza, watching our favorite shows is our life now. That's us. That's it. That's all. And we're happy with that. So yeah, I thought that was a nice moment. Now we get into Drake. And now I think we realize what Drake was doing from last episode when he was scrolling through IG. He became a little Fashion Nova man. Okay? He decided to take some women, put out an ad for, probably some local girls, Instagram girls, people with big followings, or whoever was interested in being a model, to come out and model his brand, The Shy Seeds. And it was really nice. I'm like, okay, you're business minded, I see what you're doing. And it was interesting. And then I was like, wait a minute, that girl looked familiar. It was Kenya. At this rate, I think Gemma And Jake might as well pack it up and be friends or just take a break in a relationship, because I saw a little chemistry there with Jake and Kenya, and I was just like, I don't know if we're gonna keep doing that with the friend group, because I was like, she was with Papa, literally just with Papa. Even though Papa characters occurred because what his dad had told him before he passed, but I was just like, dang, she was just with Papa. Like, we're gonna keep making the friends date each other's exes or whatever. I was like, I don't know about that. But I did see a little something there. I felt like, I don't know if it was with her or Jake, but it was interesting because we do learn that her and her father, who is also a pastor because she's a PK, we learned that her and her dad have seems like a strained relationship. And so, because Jake was like, I wasn't expecting you to, say you wanted to model or, call me back for the ad. And so she was just like, yeah, I need money. And so he was like, isn't your dad like rich? Don't y'all have money? And she was like, I'm not on his payroll. So that kind of made Jake look, me too, because I was like, okay. So their relationship isn't, from what I gathered, the best. And it seems like she just wants to be independent and do things on her own, which is nothing wrong with that, but I could pick up like, already, and so I'm assuming we'll probably get more into that as the episode continues. The reason why I said Jake and Gemma later in the episode, excuse me. Dang. Need a little bit more water. Later in the episode, we do have Gemma spend the night at Jake's house. I don't think she stays there because I'm trying to remember if she still went through with getting her own place. But she was at Jake's. And Jake's going through all his photos, which everybody looked beautiful. They looked amazing. They looked gorgeous. The content, the photos, they were clear. They came out perfect. And I'm like, right. I love this for his, the Shy Seeds brand. And I love this for him. That's awesome. And we have Gemma just kind of like peeking, looking at him like on his phone. Excuse me, sorry. And she notices Kenya and she was just jealous. Well, how come you didn't ask me to model? And I'm just like, And Jake, being petty because they're young, but they act like a married couple. Jake was like, I didn't, because you be hanging, like, aren't you focused on your girl Brittany? And I'm just like, ooh. And at that point, they was just like, we want to bed. Like, I don't got time for it. Jake was like, I got to get up early in the morning. I don't have time for this, because, he does his business out of his apartment. So he was just like, in the conversation, I said what I said. Good night. I was just laughing because she turned her back on him, bonnet on, everything. I was like, They act like grown adults. And I be like, forgetting they just graduated high school, literally just graduated high school, but the relationships just feel like grown adults. Like, so I was like, I don't know how long this relationship's gonna last. But yeah, Gemma, second time being jealous this episode because Kenya looked nice, and so she was just kind of looking like, isn't that Papa's girl Kenya? And he was just like, well, she responded to the ad. I'm not gonna deny her. Same thing happened when she was in the studio with Brittany. And this is why I said last week that if Gemma is going to work with Brittany and Myasia, it just needs to be business. Like, she needs to be a manager and put that hat on, get in that seat and focus on doing that, not little extra business and pleasure when it comes to Brittany. Because Brittany brought a girl was all over Brittany in the studio. There's a gang of people, in the back, chilling, doing whatever, studio session. Gemma is talking to the engineer, just kind of looking like stank face at the girl and Brittany, like, and so she's just telling Brittany, like, we need to run through this again. It doesn't sound good. And so then Brittany's like, excuse me. And I was just like, oh, shoot. It was a little bit of attitude coming from Brittany. I was like, Brittany wasn't all flirty like she usually is with Gemma. And at that point, Gemma was like, well, calling it a night. We're done with this session. That's it. So Brittany was just looking at her kind of funny too. Like, what do you mean? So personally, Brittany was like, I just need you to book the gigs, not worry about the music. That's your job. That's what I gave you money for. So I'm feeling like either they're going to be together, come together eventually some point in this season, or there's going to be some kind of clash. And Gemma's going to realize, like, maybe I shouldn't put my all into Brittany. Maybe I should focus on my Asia. That's what I'm feeling. Because the dynamic is up and down. And I don't know if my Asia will, want Gemma to still represent her. Because they haven't even been getting along. So, for a while. So, it's just like, I don't know what's to come with Gemma and Brittany. But the attitudes were there. So, I think they need to talk and either be strictly on business, getting gigs, doing that, or figure out if they want to be together. Because, yeah. So, yeah, we had that happen. We also... a couple, I think that's going to stay together. I want them to stay together. Benet, Bakari, and Lene. We have Lene. She is in college. I think she's like the only one out of all of them that went to college, or I don't know, community college or whatever. She's in school. She, like I said, they all graduated high school. Papa's still working at Smokies. Jake has his clothing line. Kevin, he's no longer on the show, but he went to California for gaming. And, now we have Lene, and she's in school, and Maija's doing music. I don't know if Maija's doing anything else outside of music, but I know she's doing music. So, we have Lene. She's in English Lit 101 with Dwayne Wayne, a.k.a. Professor Gardner. And, she's in his class. Whoop! I love when they do the whoop in the class. I just love that. It was so cool. And I love that she didn't think about herself in the class. She thought about Bakari, because I remember when they first met, Bakari always said he wanted to write a book. And, just he was explaining different things about himself outside of being in the streets and how he wanted to be perceived and stuff. And, like, basically telling Lene when they first met, like, there's more to him. When they were sitting on her bedroom floor at Nina's house. And so I remembered that, and I loved how that came back full circle for Bakari, because eventually, we get Lene in her room, and Bakari's going through the duffel bag of that fire. And he did get rid of it, which was good. I was thinking maybe, Lene would get caught up in something, but, he did get rid of it. He came back for it because he's explaining to her, like, hey, I got to get these out of here. Didn't explain what was in the bag, which was good because, then she wouldn't be tied up in his mess more than she already is, because she didn't know. She didn't know what was in her closet because he didn't tell her what was in the closet. Kind of good. So she won't be an accomplice. Okay, but, well, kind of. So, anyways, he basically was like, I have a drop, and she was like, no, can you come to my English Lit class tomorrow? I think you should sit in on it. And then, they had a cute moment. And he was like, okay, fine, just for you, I'll come. And I love that he actually showed up, because even though Professor Gardner was like, he could get in trouble, and he's not doing that. He's not going to break university policy and have Bakari sit in on the class, and he's not, a student at the university or the campus or the college or whatever. He can have Bakari come to tutoring sessions at 5 o'clock. And I love that because it kind of puts Bakari in a schedule. He's pursuing something, it's giving him some kind of structure, something to look forward to, even though he showed up late. And Professor Gardner was like, yeah, no, deal's off the table. I'm not working with you. And Bakari was like, either you work with me or I will be out of here or in jail. Those are my two options. I'm dead or in jail, And so he felt for that and gave Bakari a journal, which I absolutely loved, because I journal, pretty much every day. I try to journal. And so it helps. It helps to get my feelings out. It helps to process my thoughts, whatever. And I love that. So he gave him a journal to write down his life story, everything. And I think that's important. It's kind of like when Bakari was, like I said, explaining to Lene about the book. It kind of reminded me of that. Like, oh my gosh, he's getting a chance to tell his story. And then it made me sad because I'm like, I hope nothing happens to Bakari because I really like Bakari. And in so many shows, you always see this where a character has some kind of character development and things go from bad to good and they're being pushed up into better, 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 and then boom, they're gone. And it's just like, dang. Some tragic happened. That would blow me, okay? I'm hoping that is not the case for Bakari. I hope he gets to tell his story and turn his life around. But he still works for Duda. So I'm hoping that, with Lene and Professor Gardner, things are going to go better for him. And that's the same way that, like I said earlier in the men's circle for mental health, we also had Jamal there. And Jamal was explaining, like, hey, I need a job. It's hard to get a job. And like Rashad was saying, we're both ex-cons. I completely understand. Nobody wants to hire us. It is hard. And like, same way with Bakari and Rashad, kind of, he's going down some kind of path. I don't know what. But Bakari, like I said, kind of Rashad and Jamal, they're trying to turn themselves around. Same way with Victor, So I'm hoping it works out. I'm hoping it works out for Bakari, and I'm hoping that it works out for Jamal. Honestly, I am, because, you can kind of see he is trying. We don't get a lot of him in the episodes, but woo, yeah, that was them. That was that, and, I love that, Bakari does have Lene on his side as someone to go to, someone that is going to be there for him, and, basically do whatever for him, like help him to better himself. And not just kind of like fall by the wayside. A lot of people are like that with Bakari, though. So I'm hoping for the best for him. In this episode, as I mentioned before, we have Rashad. Rashad is he's back outside. He's back outside again on the dating scene. As he can see, it's basura. It's trash. It's horrible. I laughed at him telling the girl to order whatever she wanted. Because it reminded me of White Chicks for some reason. When he was like, perhaps the lady will have the salad. And she was like, perhaps not. I'll have the steak with like this, and this. Because I was like, dang, she ordering the lobster bisque. Like, she was ordering everything. And we see that nowadays, whether you're on TikTok, social media, or whatever. You do see that a lot. Like, stories of like girls ordering, or women just ordering so much food, and then, dipping on a guy or complaining about the place. So I laughed at how they kind of incorporated that with Rashad and him trying to get back out there and being like, oh my gosh, this is not it. Like, this is not it at all. And I felt for him, though, because he was trying to win Deja back by bringing her flowers, and she was like, I loved you. Loved, past tense, I don't love you anymore. And I was just like, girl, you just said you lowered your standards. Last episode, so I don't think that that's true. But who knows? I was just like, girl, because I kind of got that like throughout the episodes between them, that she wasn't really feeling him. Like sometimes, you could tell he was still like had his guard up of like when he would be like, oh, I'm not trying to offend your house. And she was like, oh, it's our house. And he was like, no. Like, you could see the power dynamic. And the guys, they joke on him about that. Like, I told you, just, like, let her pay for it. I told you to do this and that and that. And so, yeah, everybody's, like, living vicariously through Rashad and just kind of looking at him like, what did I tell you? Kind of thing. Speaking of Rashad, him and Darnell, they go and they fix Alicia's sink. I forgot that Darnell fixes things, and Rashad loves to fix things as well. And so Darnell steps out because he forgets something in the truck that he has to go back and, get a tool or whatever. And here comes Alicia bringing water and, easing her way in there, like, oh, I heard you, were in prison. You were in jail, you went away. Well, I had a brother, she's explaining about Q and this and that, and asking him, like, what does he do with his money? And he's like, I don't trust anybody. I leave it in a shoebox under the bed. That's what I do with my money. And she's like, well, why don't you just give it to me, And I'm just like, Rashad, you were fixing cars at the chop shop for Duda, okay? And now you're potentially about to weasel your way over here with Alicia. Not good. I just don't feel like it's going to go good. I'm like, you're mixing just like Emmett's mixing, and it's only one way or a couple of ways that this can go. So I'm just I'm nervous. It's still giving a thin line between love and hate. Like, I feel like Alicia could build him up, have him looking spliffy and fly or whatever. But it comes with a cost. And as Rob has warned people about dealing with his mother, it comes with a cost. Like, she does not play about her money, even though it would technically be Rashad's money. And like he said, he don't like anybody having control over his funds and stuff like that. Because that little late night visit, because you thought you could fix that door or the handle, the locks. Mm-hmm. And Alicia said in the morning, I was like, oh, Lord, it's giving a thin line between love and hate again. I am so scared for Rashad. I'm like, you are in deeper almost than Emmett. Like, you're in bed. You're in bed at this point, and I'm nervous. I don't know. I don't know. I will say, sidebar, that I do love the relationship between Victor and Rashad. Earlier Victor got punched by Duda, and Rashad was like, what did he actually do? And Victor was like, well, he told me to shut my mouth, like, don't say nothing or whatever, keep quiet. And Rashad was like, well, you better keep quiet. Like, it was just so funny, and them talking about, like, Rashad's dad when they were 10, and I'm like, y'all are really, like, brothers for real, like, locked in, like, y'all are, like, solid, and it's so nice to see that relationship. Also, Rashad was sleeping out of his car because, he's no longer with Deja, and Darnell was like, okay, you can come, let me go ask Jade if you can come, live with us, basically. And so she was like, I don't want no grown man in my house. And so I laughed because she obviously agreed. Everybody loves Rashad. They feel for him. Darnell didn't tell Jada what happened between Rashad and Deja. And neither did Rashad. Rashad didn't tell Marcus either when they were having that sit down at, the guys hanging out. He just was like, oh, we broke up. But I laughed because she was like, Darnell's about to give him the good sheets. And she was like, dog, don't give him my good sheets. Like, I was like, why? Like, I cannot. But yeah, I was just laughing too because he's like, y'all got any brisket? I was just like, Rashad is too much. Like, talking about he want to make them a brisket, like, so they can cook on the grill as a thank you gift. I was just like, oh my gosh. I mean, it's the least he could do, but now, speaking of so much of Alicia, when you have Alicia, you have Rob. So, Rob, oh my goodness. I like Rob a lot. I do. Because the respect he has for Tiff. Because Nuck rode up on Rob in a parking garage and realized that, he was smoking the same marijuana that he was smoking at Emmett's house for me. And he was just like, hold up. I want to cut. I want to end with whatever you and Tiff have going on. And he was obviously being a little bit disrespectful. Not even a little bit. He's been a little bit. No, I said not even a little bit, and then I said not a little bit again. He's been disrespectful when it came to speaking about Tiff. And I like how Rob put Nuck in his place. Like, that's not. That's a woman. That's my woman. So come correct, basically. And I like that because I was like, you better let him know. Because Nuck. I'm like, so y'all little empire crumbling and everybody just trying to get a little bit of something into something. You got Zay over there trying to, weasel Jake in. And of course he has dealings with Brittany. You got Nuck trying to figure out, like, okay, shoot, if something goes left with Douda, let me get a little piece of the action with Tiff and Rob in their business. So I'm just like, it's only but so long before, Douda probably figures out what is going on. It's just not going to end well for the people that actually really work for Douda, like Nuck and Zay and, whoever. So I was just like, ooh. Of course, Tiff was not happy about it. I don't blame her. Same way with, Keisha and whoever. Nobody wants to do business with Douda. Nobody wants to be wrapped in that, put in that, in the mix with that. Like, no. And so Tiff was just like, are you kidding me? And of course, Rob had to explain to her, like, okay, it's either my life or us doing business. And Tiff loved Rob. Rob loves Tiff. They had to do what they had to do. So now they're in business with Nuck, or Nuck's in business with them. And I like Tiff more this season. You can see, like, the business side of her, especially when Emmett came to talk to them. And she was like, again, Keisha needs to sell her cheese dip. Like, for real, this cheese dip is good. And Emmett being Emmett, just half a brain sometimes. It's like, where's she gonna do that? We don't have the money, for that. And Tiff was like, at Smokey's, like, where else? Like, sell them at your, like, make business at your business. Make money at your business. Have Keisha sell her cheese dip out of Smokey's. Like, and he's like, that's a good idea. I was like, oh my gosh. Let the women handle the stuff. Let them do it. Yeah. Douda, as I said earlier, I don't know Bianca's role. I don't even know if Bianca knows her place or her role, or I don't even know where Bianca falls in the side piece, because that's what she's giving right now is side piece lane, not girlfriend with Douda, because Douda is still feeding and fawning and drooling out the mouth like a dog for Tracy, texting her, and she's like, just leave me alone. Like, please leave me alone. Please, I don't want nothing to do with you. So I'm wondering if that was who he got up to excuse himself and call, was Tracy. I'm like, please leave Tracy alone, because Tracy has had her history of men, but she's trying to actually stay away from you. She's trying to actually do better, like, kind of. Leave her alone. Let her be. Let her move on with her life. Like, because clearly, for Douda, I guess Tracy's up there. Rosalind falls in there somewhere. And Bianca's, I don't know. Because, like, even Douda didn't know why they went out to dinner. And she's like, well, I'm just trying to, like, celebrate you for changing so many lives. I was like, girl, you're not making people's lives horrible. Changing them how? Like, what? Are we looking at the same person? And I was like, you look suspicious right now, too, because if you're trying to cash in a favor for Alicia or do whatever Alicia wants you to do, you are like, like, my alarms would be going off in my head. Like, this is suspicious. You're being a little too nice, a little too friendly. What's up? What, like, what's going on? What can I help you with? Like, I'd be thinking that she had the outs for him, So it's just like, Bianca. And I don't know if she figured it out, like, okay, I did something nice. Maybe, he wasn't feeling it. Or maybe, obviously he has other women. But I'm just like, good Lord. We had Marcus a little bit this episode. I was excited to see him. He's, also trying to, like, advocate and root for Victor as well. I don't know if the truth will ever come out about Tierra and Rashad. I don't know how he would take that. Um, so I'm interested to see if that'll ever happen. I don't know if Tierra will ever tell, because Tierra just seems like like who cares? It happens. Like get over it. Kind of vibe she gives me. So I don't know if she'll accidentally like spill it, or if they'll just be something that a few people know, not everybody knows, kind of thing. Just the guys, well, not everybody in the group, because I feel like that would just change the whole dynamic. But yeah, I was excited to see a couple of people that we were not we were missing last episode, and they weren't in the last episode. So I was really excited to see Jamal. I'm hoping that things go better for him. I'm excited to see Marcus this episode, and Rashad. Like he's up there right now with Emmett, right? Like yeah, he's like, it's like Emmett, Rashad, Victor, Bakari, Jake. Jake's still in there because I don't know if he flipped that 30,000 or however much Zay gave him. I'm just like, ugh. But I love these episodes, and I'm excited because, like I said, we have new characters, new cast members. Leon, aka Alfonso. What the heck was his name? Alfonso Daniels Lafayette. The name was perfect for him. It was like smooth and suave. I was like, okay, Alfonso Daniels Lafayette. Like, I like that. I'm still excited, and I cannot wait to see Brett Gray whenever he's introduced into the show. I was excited to see Dwayne Wayne, aka Professor Gardner. I think it's Elijah Gardner. So I was really excited this episode. It was a wonderful episode. This is a long video because I was talking, but it was so much to talk about, so much that I was really excited for this episode, and just different things that took place next week. I don't know what's going to happen. I think we might touch a little bit more into Rashad and Alicia, possibly more of like Tiff and Rob and their business. Yeah, I feel like, and possibly, probably get more with Victor, Quincy, and Alfonso, because that's how we ended the episode, with them looking at the car and realizing it's either Victor goes down or Dudot goes down. So, and if they can't get Victor to go, if they can't get Dudot to go down, then it's definitely going to be Victor. There's no in between. So that is also something I'm looking forward to seeing how everything will play out with just pretty much everyone, but especially those group of people, Rashad, Alicia, their relationship, Victor, Quincy, and Dudot, and Alfonso, and how he will contribute and help out. So, yeah. If you like this video, which I hope you stayed through the whole thing, again, I love the episode, love the cast, love the Shy. If you watched it through the whole almost hour long video, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I really greatly appreciate it. I am so thankful for you all. I am really thankful for everyone that tunes in, that watches my reviews, that watches the show right along with me, and yeah, just for the support in general. I really do appreciate it. But yeah, I really do appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. I do. And I just want to say that, again, it's Mental Health Awareness Month. I hope that everyone is having a great month so far. And, I hope that you guys have a wonderful week. And yeah. And no matter what happens, just take a couple of seconds to yourself every day, whether you're at work, school, wherever. If you just need to take a break, take maybe 5, 10, 15 seconds to yourself, take a couple of deep breaths in, and let it out. It will get better. Trust me. Keep your head up. You got this. I'm proud of you. I know it's a lot going on in the world, and a lot going on in our personal lives and with the people that we love, and etc. Keep your head up. Keep praying. And just try to be there for one another right now. For sure. Check in. And yeah, do something great. Enjoy your life. Have an amazing day or night, wherever you are. I'm out. Again, just don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Give me more suggestions if you have any suggestions. If you want shorter videos, I'm sorry, because yeah, like I was talking, I'm gonna try to edit this out or edit this, shorten it down a little bit. But thank you so much for just tuning in. It's your girl Des, aka Desiree. And also you can follow me on social media as well. Again, thank you. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. And don't forget to watch the rest of my videos on the Shy Season 6 reviews. Yeah. Alright, I'm out. Thank you. Bye.